Hi, my name is Morgan Parent, and today I'm going to be presenting to you my scope of work at my architectural internship at Centerline Design LLC. So, without further ado, allow us to jump right in. So, to introduce you to my project, it's going to be located on the southwest corner of Herndon Avenue and Brawley Avenue. It's a new commercial shopping center. It's going to include 4 full-size commercial shopping buildings, and the architect is my company, Centerline Design, and we are in the construction documentation phase. Now, although I would love to share some photos of our current progress and some renderings I completed myself, unfortunately, due to our contract type and confidentiality reasons, I'm unable to share those today, so we will just be relying on Canva photos. So credit to Canva for all the photos in today's presentation. So to start off, the scope of work I'm going to be focusing on today is the exterior assembly. I got to work on this portion a lot of the project as I got put on the project in the very beginnings of it in schematic design. So I went through a lot of material selection, conversations. I'm now working on detailing and just overall construction documentations for the project. Additionally, I've created a lot of renderings and walkthroughs for client use that feature the exterior assembly and exterior materials. Additionally, I've ordered and organized numerous exterior materials for both architect and client review. So I've just really gotten to dive right into this exterior assembly and really learned about how it's put together and the importance of it. So I'm going to share that with you all today. So to start off, I'm going to share our design intent. So the client came to us with a very specific style and design he was looking for that we interpreted and modified to best fit the needs. Basically, he came to us and said, I want a shopping center and I want it to look like Delta Shores in Sacramento. So we took that design in Sacramento and we edited it, modified it, made it our own, but still kept the essence, and client approved it, loved it, and now we're moving forward. Great thing about it is a very complex color palette. It's got tans, grays, whites, blacks. It's got a little bit of everything. So it's really interesting to see it all come together because when we were doing first preliminary designs, it was very difficult getting the tans and the grays to kind of mesh together, but we ended up making it look pretty decent in my opinion. Additionally, the site is located very close to a airport in the area, so noise pollution was taken into consideration. Additionally, with that, a large part of our site was considered unusable for the plane flyover, so that's also something that we had to take into consider, but doesn't really affect our exterior envelope. Additionally, we are just working on shell building, so very limited fire rated walls were needed outside of the electrical rooms, and with Fresno's unpredictable weather, our design also had to take into account our very unpredictable rainy seasons. So to continue, I'm going to be talking about our materials and specifications. So like I said, this was a kind of complex design. So to start off with our exterior finishes, we have a mix of stucco, aluminum composite paneling, which I'm going to be referring to as ACP, and thin brick for our exterior material or exterior finishes, excuse me. Additionally, we have our air barrier just for that circulation and extra protection, our sheathing for that water, and we went with wood stud for this building. Our company primarily works in wood stud. Very rarely do you see us using metal stud. It's just what we know. And additionally, we have normal batt insulation, and all the inner walls are going to be lined in gypsum board. So pretty basic stuff. Like I said, it's just a shell, but it's a very interesting project. There's lots of soffits and intricate detailing going on that I wish I could share with you. So construction methods. Kind of want to go through the steps of putting together an exterior assembly. So first you have your wood framing. That's always going to be first. And then your sheathing, just making sure everything's kind of fits together, matches, and adding that extra protection, then additional waterproofing materials as needed. And then you have your insulation for the interior walls and the gypsum board. Now, as I said, this is just a shell, but hopefully we will get to work on some of the tenant improvements in the future as we get further into the construction process, and really, so I really would hopefully have a larger chance to understand the inner systems of the building. And then for equipment, this is a pretty basic building, and it's only 1 story. It's pretty averagely sized, so you really just will need scaffolding and a forklift most likely. Other than that, it's not really too intricate with equipment wise. And now to go into coordination and constructability. So who influences the exterior assembly? Like I said, the architect, our team has had a lot of input on it so far, and we are really trying to figure out the aesthetics of it and what our client wants. But with that, our structural engineers, mechanical engineer, and electrical engineer are all also having a say in making sure we also have room for all the things they need for. So something in particular that comes up is our structural engineer had to help us with a lot of details actually. But we have top spandrel glazing at the kind of highest point of the building just for aesthetic purposes. If you do get a chance to look up Delta Shores, this will make a lot more sense to you. But we have a dark spandrel glass band at the top of our building where it meets the parapet. And us as a company, we hadn't worked on something like that before, so we needed a lot of input from our structural engineer to really understand, hey, how's that glazing going to come together? What columns are needed in it? How is that really going to work together and come to physical form in reality? So that was a huge thing our structural engineer influenced on our exterior assembly. Additionally, our mechanical engineer is working with us right now to ensure we have room for all the fun HVAC things, and same thing with the electrical engineer. He's helping us work on those details as needed. Now, although all those people have influence in the design and the overall the coordination of the assembly, the general contractor is who's going to ensure that success in the field and ensure its physicality. So really, everybody's important. Now, project-specific example. Like I said, these details have been a lot, and I have had the privilege of working on so many of them. So many. It's actually quite insane. But I've worked extensively on these, so I've really had a chance to understand them. And after creating them the first time and then sending them out to our consultants, like on that window glazing I was just talking about, our consultants gave us feedback. They said, oh, you need to change this detail, you need to adjust this, you need to move this around, you need an extra beam here, you need this. And I was able to take their notes and incorporate it back into our details, which was really useful in ensuring the success of our exterior envelope. One amazing example of this is we have cantilevered metal canopies, and once again, our company hadn't really worked on something like that, so we got amazing feedback from our structural engineers, and we were able to make that happen. Additionally, cost and scheduling considerations. So cost. So with our materials, we have some kind of unusual materials like the thin brick and the aluminum composite panels. These can get expensive as aluminum composite panels have to be custom made, as well as that spandrel glazing I mentioned. That also has been custom colorized for this project, so that's going to be quite expensive. Additionally, with those materials comes installation time and labor. The aluminum composite panels are a little labor intensive and time intensive, which could lead to problems, and with that also lead times. Additionally, scheduling considerations with the shop drawings needed for the panels and submittals could be extensive. Additionally, fabrication and lead times and installation sequences. Finally, quality assurance and safety. So for quality assurance, we include an internal plan check. So everybody's looking at the project, everybody's going deep into it and ensuring we are finding those mistakes before they get to field. Additionally, we coordinate our drawings, as I said, with various consultants to ensure consistency. And then shop drawings and submittals are submitted to ensure in-field compliance before installation, before things can kind of be harder to take back or redo. Additionally, unique and specific specifications and details have been created to ensure success and comprehension in the field. Finally, safety. We take a lot of time verifying life safety code requirements, ADA accessibility within the design, and how it interacts with the exterior assembly, mainly the glazing, the doors, entrances, exits, and egress, as my next bullet point states, really ensuring that safe, quick exit strategy for any occupants. And then finally, specified any necessary fire-rated assemblies. I think I mentioned before, the only fire-rated assemblies we do have are in our electrical rooms, so there's probably only about 6 walls in the entire complex that are going to have that fire-rated assembly for now until we get to the tenant improvement plans. But yeah, so without further ado, thank you all. I thank you for your time, and yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you.